Class is beginning. And so what happens when we sit on this block, I'm lifting my hips up, and it makes this cross-legged position just a little bit easier. Now, whether you're joining me on the mat or you're just watching from your desk, nice, I love all that love on the screen there. However is going to be comfortable for you. So you can sit cross-legged, whatever that looks like for you. It doesn't have to look exactly like mine. And if you're in a chair, you can follow along in these beginning stretches here. We're just doing these from seated. So please join us. Hands are going to be on the thighs here. We'll sit up tall and close the eyes. We're just going to start with our breathing. Trying our best to breathe in and out through the nose. There's a lot of benefit through breathing through the nose. Not only through your yoga practice, but throughout the day, while you're exercising. If you can get yourself to breathe through your nose while you're sleeping, it's been something I've struggled to do, but has gotten better. There's a new book going around. Actually, Grace Yoga was talking about it. James Nestor's Breath. Really interesting book. I was just listening to an interview. We can talk about that at the end, though. So as we settle into our seat, and we're breathing through our nose, really take a big breath in. Try to fill down into your belly. So we're taking a little bit longer here to inhale, to inflate. And taking all your sweet time exhaling. Inhale. And exhale. Nice long inhale here. Feel your belly expanding, not just front and back, but out into the sides as well. Even if it doesn't happen, you can visualize it happening in your body. And this is just our practice of slowing things down. When we step in to control our breath, we can tap into that parasympathetic nervous system, that rest and digest. I talk about it almost every class when we do this breathing, just to remind us how the breath is such a powerful tool. And it does a great job on its own without us thinking about it. But when we practice taking over the control of the breath, we can control whether we want to energize the body or relax the body. We'll draw the chin down to the chest, slowly taking the neck into some circles here. Nice. Look at that hype train emote. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. I've never had that before, so another Twitch first for me. Couldn't have done it without you guys. All right, and take your time with this. All right, no need to rush through this at all. Notice where you feel tight in your neck, if there's any pain. We don't want to move through pain, and that goes for the entire class or any type of class that I'm teaching. If you feel pain, we'll first back off just a little bit. If we can get to like maybe edge of discomfort, that's okay. But if you still feel that, then we'll just kind of stop and modify for you. Right? You are the only one in your body. I'm just giving you some guidelines here. We have to make some tweaks so that it feels good for you. Reversing the direction in the neck there. Hey, Yoga Erica, welcome. I didn't see you come in. I had my eyes closed. Welcome, welcome. Yes, exactly. That's the same podcast I was listening to. I'm about a third of the way through it. I just started it last night. Good. Let's bring that neck back to center here. Let's just turn the head over to the right. But before we do that, imagine the head gets just a little bit taller. We'll rotate that head there. And just notice, did we tilt the head at all? Can we really keep it on that axis and rotate? You're going to hit a natural stop point. As long as there's no pain, you can use a small bit of muscular force to draw that chin a little bit further into that rotation. Awesome. Let's come back through center here. Again, we check in, inhale, get a little taller through the head and through the spine. We're rotating that head over to the left. Notice where that stop point is. And then just a little bit of muscular squeeze to take you a bit further, as long as there is no pain or discomfort. Good. Let's come back to center here. Let's inhale, reaching both arms up. Tall, tall to the sky. You're in and out. Can't hear anything, sorry. Oh, no problem, pumpkin. And exhale, arms down to the side. Inhale. And exhale. Each reach, see if you can get taller. Getting a little closer to the ceiling. And exhale. Let's do a side bend on our next one here. Ooh, that looks good. A little rainbow latte. Exhale, let's go over to the right side. So your left arm reaches up and over. The right hand just tucks in nice and tight to your body. Inhale, fill into those left ribs. And exhale, see if there's any more of that side bend that you can drop into. One more here. Let the inhale bring you back up to center. Both arms reach. Exhale over to the other side. Left hand falls down. Right hand up and over. Nice inflative breath. See if you can send your breath into the right ribs. That's feeling great. Last breath here in this side bend. Inhale. And exhale. Nice. Inhale back to center here. As we exhale, hands come down in front of you. Roll over your knees. We're on to all fours. We'll start by moving the spine here in a little cat and cow. As you inhale, arch the back. We're looking up and sending the tailbone up towards the sky. As you exhale, push down into the floor, round the upper back, and peek under your body. We get that doming of the whole back there. In breath, arch, and exhale around. And you'll notice I'm taking my time with the movement. I'm pairing the duration of the movement to the duration of my breath. Right? So keep going with that. You can stay with that forward and back. Maybe you practice segmenting that movement. So starting at the bottom part of the back and sending that wave up the spine. So we're segmenting or articulating the spine. Maybe you just want to go freestyle with it. I love having this in the beginning of my class, giving you the freedom and the space to explore your own body in this shape. You'll notice that I'm getting a little weird with it. I'm moving my hands around in different places to find pockets of stretch, and I'm letting the body tell me where it wants to stretch. So as I move around, I'm almost fishing for, I'm fishing for where I'm sore. And this placement right here, I just did a bunch of ring pressing work yesterday in my workout stream. And I'm feeling that this position right here is giving me a really nice chest opening stretch. Yeah, LOL at that for sure. We rated somebody's stream yesterday, and he was saying that he liked my my freestyle cat and cow, and he was saying how it It made him think of dancing and how he was a little intimidated to dance. And I used to be as well, but then it was this kind of practice of just letting my body kind of go where it wants to started to get me a little bit more comfortable with dancing. We're slowly finding our way back to neutral here. Let's plant the hands about shoulder width apart, fingertips spread wide here. Grab into your mat. We're curling the toes under. Send the hips up and back. We're in our downward facing dog, DFD. For all of you new subscribers today, you got the, does anyone have the DFD emote? Or is that just tier 3? Maybe I'll make that tier 1. So this downward facing dog, it's kind of iconic yoga pose here. This is our home base. It can feel a little intense if this is your first time doing it or you're relatively new. You always bring your freestyle cat-cow to other classes, says Moon. That's so cool. Yes, you can do any of this stuff on your own. You can even take your downward facing dog for a little freestyle. You'll notice I'm pedaling my feet here, just sending the sensation of stretch between the right and the left leg as I do so. But it's not critical that your legs are straight in this or that your heels are flat on the ground. They don't have to be. You can still get plenty of benefit from bending into the knees, letting the heels come up. I would rather you have a healthy bend in the knees and lift in the heels and send your chest towards your thighs than trying to have your legs straight and then everything kind of rounds from the waist up. Let me adjust my shirt here. I'm quickly getting indecent. And so in some classes you might hear teachers say that this is the rest pose, but if you're relatively new to yoga, this can feel like a lot. But as you get more comfortable with it, more familiar with it, it does get easier. We're going to tiptoe the feet forward to the top of the mat. And we'll end up in a forward fold here, letting the head and the arms just hang heavy. If you would like a little more intensity here, there's an option to grab for the opposite elbows. That just takes the arms off the floor, allows us to feel the full weight of the upper body pulling us into this inversion. Inversion because our head is below our heart here. And again, you'll notice my knees aren't totally straight here. I'm going to let a soft bend in my knees, feel the fold, and then as you open up, maybe the knees straighten. Give the head a little shake, yes and no. Flying crow pose. I might be able to do flying crow. Maybe at the end of the class when we do Q&A, I'll do like a little pose Q&A. Good. Release the hands to the floor. Bring the hands to the shins. We're going to lift the body halfway up. Let's pause here because we just want to talk about this shape. Because in the context of vinyasa, oftentimes this one specific pose, just you fly through it. And I think it's worth examining here. So with the hands on the shins, we're lifting halfway up, and really it's an arching of the spine. I'm looking straight down. I like to imagine the number 7, or that Tetris piece, you know, that little L Tetris piece. And we start to feel the muscles that run up the back, they're turning on a little bit more. Handstand and inversion, but also a little like a plank, but with floating legs. You'll have to explain that to me later. But I will try it. Good. Let's exhale, come back down into our forward fold. On this inhale, sweep the arms out wide. They're going to bring us up to standing. We're up nice and tall. Reach to the sky. And exhale, arms alongside the body. Good. Let's just roll the shoulders out here while we're in this standing pose. Like I said, even though today is kind of lower body focus, we still do get a little bit of the upper body in there. Reversing the direction of those shoulder circles. Good. All right, let's flow through a little bit of what we call a vinyasa, and it's just a series of movements here, and we're going to pair it with our breath cycles. I'll go through the first one a little slower so you can get it. Even if you're more advanced, it's always nice to slow it down and really feel it, trying to slow the breath down. So we inhale, reach up towards the sky. We get the body nice and long. Folding as you exhale. Now as you inhale, bring the hands to the shin. It's that half lift, that little 7. And then we exhale, fold again, bring the hands to the floor. We're going to step into our plank. If you know full chaturanga, you can do that. Otherwise, we're going to lower the knees, the chest, and the chin. So this is all kind of happening on that same exhale. When we go to inhale, everything slides forward. Belly flattens, but the chest lifts up. This is our cobra. And then exhale, just push your hips back to your heels. Reach the arms long. This is a child's pose. I just want to offer this up early. This is always a nice place to take a breath cycle or two if it feels a little too intense. Permission to go here anytime you want or to take a break anytime you need to. One more breath here. See if you can feel the expansion happening in the back of your rib cage. Inhale. Woo! And exhale. It takes practice to start to send the breath around the trunk cavity. So if you don't get it right away, totally fine. All right, so we're going to come into our downward dog, curl the toes under, send the hips up, and we're here again. And each time we come back to this shape, we're going to check in. We're going to see how things feel. Maybe your knees get a little straighter. Maybe the heels a bit closer. Maybe it just feels more, maybe it feels less foreign each time you're here. And that's a win too. So let's lift that right leg up into the air. The bed is so high, it makes me look really short. This is a very high bed. I built it myself, I built the frame myself so that I could have some storage. I have a very small place here. So we've got that right leg up into the air, really firm and strong here. So as you inhale, let's come up as high as you can on those left toes. As you exhale, let the air release and that heel drops down. Wherever it lands, you're just going to feel it a little deeper. Let's do that a couple more times. Inhale. High up onto the left toes. Exhale. Heel down to the floor. 2 more to be exact. In breath. Exhale. Last one. Breathing in. And breathing out. Good. Bring the knee forward. We're going to try to bring that knee up towards the nose. This takes a lot of upper body strength and core strength, especially as that knee gets even closer to the nose. We're going to hover here for one more breath. And as you exhale, we're looking to aim that right foot just between the hands. Totally fine if it doesn't get there. You can use your hand to bring you up the rest of the way. Let's go drop that back knee to the floor. We're coming up into our low lunge. We're here a lot. I really like this shape. Let's back up. We're going to set it up the same way we always do. We'll stack the hip, engage the glute so that we can draw the pelvis underneath. With this engaged, then we can lean forward. I don't have to go nearly as far forward, but I'm feeling so much more in this hip flexor here. Good. And if you want to get a head start on the balance stuff that we're going to work on today, you'll notice the front foot of my low lunge, I'm actually off of my heel. You can give that a go. Just breathing here. One more breath. Exhale. Lower that heel. If it were elevated, we're going to bring the hands to the floor and straighten that front leg so the hips go up and back. Here's a place where these blocks are really helpful. Sometimes keeping the hands on the floor and trying to straighten that front leg is not an option for tight hips and tight hamstrings. So we use these blocks that have 3 different levels, depending on how you turn them, can help us get into a taller position. Now, if you've straightened your leg and you feel like your butt is dropping back towards your heel, we just need to widen the stance a little bit so you can send your front leg a little further forward. Really, you want that hip right over the left knee here. Now I'm drawing a little circle. I'm planted. You can see I'm planting my heel on the ground here. And I'm taking my ankle through a nice circle, an active circle. I'm not phoning this in here, folks. I'm feeling all sorts of stuff in the back of my leg, but also up my shin as I go in those circles, reverse the direction. If you are regular in this class, you know I do this move quite a bit, this little low lunge, straight leg sequence. We don't need to reinvent the wheel. This stuff is good. Nice. Rebending into that front knee. Let's move the blocks if you have them there. Hands are going to plant. Back knee will lift up. We're going to send that right leg back into a plank. If you want more of a challenge, keep the right leg floating. You can even cycle through a vinyasa here if you know what that means, and end in a three-legged dog. Okay, so if you were just in your plank, you can simply shift up and back, keep that right leg up into the air. Once we're in this three-legged dog, we'll bend that right knee, open the hips. Woo! Stacking them vertically here. And you'll notice as that right leg opens up, the right hand will likely get a little lighter on the floor. See if you can way back down into that right hand and feel the rotation coming more from your torso and from your hips. One more breath in here. Exhale, again, bring that knee to nose. We're going to look to step that right foot between the hands, just like we did previously. So we're getting a little more core work in today's practice. And then take a big step to the front of the mat with that left foot. We're in that forward fold again. Next time you breathe in, come up halfway, hands to the shins. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale to rise all the way up, arms sweep, and then reach to the sky. Exhale, arms alongside the body. Let's do all that on the other side. Inhale, let's reach up to the sky. You might throw in an arch at the top. Exhale, forward fold. On your in-breath, hands to the shins, lift halfway up. And exhale, plant the hands, step into your plank. So if you know full vinyasa, you can take it. Otherwise, it's the knees dropping first, then chest and chin. Keep the elbows in tight. Inhale, slide forward and up, cobra. And exhale, you can go back to your downward dog if you need to take a rest for a sec. Again, here's that child's pose. And then you can just meet us in down dog when you're ready. Building some heat here. Our left leg is going up into the air. It is straight. It is strong. We're not just lazy with it. See if you can feel that leg straighten. Boom. Point the toe. Whoopsh. And breathe. Now when we breathe, we do our little calf raises on that right foot. We inhale. Come way up onto the balls of the feet. And exhale. Drop that heel as low as it'll go. You don't need to force it. In breath here. Exhale. There's already plenty of your body weight adding to this calf stretch. 2 more. Breathe it in. Get high up onto the tippy toes. Exhale. Last breath here. And exhale. Good. So we're going to bring that left knee forward. Bring it up towards the nose, and we're going to hover here. So you'll feel a forward shift. You got to push off that back toe just a little bit there. Oh, thank you, kittens. Yes, my classes always involve some form of sound effects. Wata! All right, one more breath here. People are like, why is he talking on this pose? And we're going to step that left foot between the hands, okay? That's a hard movement.
Takes a lot of core strength. So if your foot lands about halfway up the mat, we just use the hand to get the rest of the way there. Once we're in this lunge, drop the back knee down. Let's come into our low lunge. Very tempting, right, to just sink forward. Right? It's a nice stretch, but we're gonna be a little bit more mindful, just like we did on the other side. Hips stacked right over the knee. Feel your glutes squeeze a little bit. And if you have that awareness, we're drawing the tailbone underneath. With the booty squeezed, then you can lean forward. You'll notice there's the stretch, but I don't need to go all the way in there. And just like we added on the other side, option here to come up onto the ball of that left foot. Feeling the calf. You don't know the calf of it. Hey, hey, hey. Wop, wop, wop. Bad puns. I'll be here all week. Good. On your next exhale here, heel drops down, hands to the floor, or if you have blocks or books or anything to bring the floor up to you, we can straighten that front leg. Doesn't have to get to completely straight. As long as you're feeling a nice sensation of stretch in the hamstrings here. Oftentimes, bringing the hands up onto something will allow you to get straighter relative to where you were. Hey! She was lurking and she heard the pun. It's okay. I throw them out there and someone catches them. You know, that's how puns work. So just as we did on the other side, once you've found your kind of limit to your stretch, we plant that heel. That's our anchor. We're going to take that ankle through a circle. Notice the sensations as you go through this radius here. Where does the stretch migrate around that lower limb? Wonderful. Let's reverse the direction there. You may notice that in this range, we've got some skippiness, perhaps. It's just our nervous system trying to make sense of a range that it's not used to being in. So the more we do this, the slower we take these movements, we can smooth out that stutteriness. Oh, thank you, kittens. Yes, the crickets have taken a break. I need to have like a little cricket sound effects that come up when I do that. Good. Let's rebend into that front knee. All right, where were we here? Oh, yes. Hands down onto the floor. Back knee lifts up. Now we're going to step back into our plank to make this more challenging. You can keep that left leg floated. Floated. If you want to go through your vinyasa three-legged, feel free. I'm just going to shift up and back to the three-legged dog because I shifted through on the other side there. Yogi's choice. You can take this as much, make it as hard or as easy as you'd like. Now, if you're sitting in your chair watching from your desk, this is a difficult pose to emulate in your chair. So if you're lurking, keep lurking. Good. We're going to bend the knee, open the hips here. And again, notice as that leg opens up and the hips stack more vertically, that left hand gets a little bit lighter. Do what you can to feel heavy down into that left hand. So it's kind of like a game of tug of war. The heel wants to open and pull you into rotation, but your hand says, nah, we're staying put. And it's a practice that takes... it's a skill that takes practice, I should say, to create opposing forces in your body. Very nice. So again, we bring that knee forward towards the nose. See if you can get any closer, and you have another opportunity here to try to step that foot to the top of the mat. Again, if you're only halfway down, that's fine, but just notice as we practice that movement over time, how much closer that foot gets. Back foot steps to the top of the mat. We're in that forward fold. Exhale everything out. We inhale, lift halfway up. Fold as you exhale. Let's inhale, reach up to the sky. Once you get to this top position, let's hook our thumbs up overhead. Okay. Now I'm going to use my biceps here to kind of plug my ears as I get my hands even taller. Feet are together. And we're going to take that elevator lift. I don't know if you can see it. Yep, I'm up on my tippy toes here. Try to get as high as you can. If you want a little bit more intensity here, if you want this to be a little harder, we can look up towards our connected thumbs. Ah! And that makes it a little bit more difficult. If you're like, yeah, what else do you got? You can close your eyes and consider yourself the balance champ. Because that's what yoga is about. It's about competition and being better than everyone. I'm just kidding. New folks, I am totally kidding. Last breath. And exhale. Arms down alongside the body here. Beautiful. Let's take a big step back with that left foot here. We're going to be in our high lunge. Arms reaching tall. And just like we did before, maybe you took this option in your low lunge, but I'm going to challenge everyone to it now. Your right heel is going to become lighter. Maybe it disconnects from the floor. Maybe that's not even air you're breathing. Oh, yes. Okay, we're feeling the calf. And breathing. One more breath in here. Stay in your lunge, just lower the heel. We're going to bring the hands down to the hips, keeping the spine long. Imagine you've got a broomstick taped to your spine. We're going to hinge forward. Okay. Warrior 3 is where we're going to aim for, and that's a single leg balance pose. If you have a chair or a wall or a very, very high bed near you, feel free to use it. You can even use blocks here. What we'll do, feel your weight shifting forward. You can even kind of toe off that back foot. Whoop. And we're going to be balanced. Okay? I like to do these supported because then we can feel the strength of the leg without being limited by our stability here. So again, I'm using blocks. You could use the seat of a chair. You could use a countertop, a wall. If you have a medium-sized animal, you can have them sit right in front of you. Maybe you want to go into more full expression of Warrior 3. Hands can be on the hips, out to the side, or reaching forward. But my goodness, I'm feeling yesterday's workout, so I'm going to take it easy on these today. Very nice. One more breath. And exhale. Good. Bending into that planted leg. We're looking to come upright, still staying balanced on that one right leg. Bring that left knee up to your chest. Oh. Okay. Options here. You can keep that leg bent. To make this a little harder, leg starts to straighten out. And I'm trying not to get soft in my back leg, my bottom leg. I'm really pushing out, really biasing or prioritizing. Let me come more to the middle of the mat. Straighter legs versus higher. Subu, nice bottom of the foot there. I'll give you a 4'5" on screen right over there. And if you want to make this even more challenging for our last 2 breaths, ooh, I can feel how sore my legs are. And you might feel that too. So you just take it where you can. Take it where you are. And exhale, let's lower that leg. And let's shake it out. Good, let's take some weight onto the left leg. We'll just shake that right leg out. Another option here. This one might take a little bit more coordination, but we can try it. Weight goes into the left leg. Bring that knee about halfway up. Keeping that hip loose, I can just pendulum that shin side to side.
If your balance is okay there and feel free to rest on something, you can even kind of stir the pot, if you will. And then reverse the direction. Just kind of getting some movement through the hip there. Nice. Good. Let's do the same thing on the left side, shall we? I told you we were going to be doing some balance stuff today, some single legs, so you were warned. Right foot steps back, high lunge. Actually, let me turn my fan on because I am quite literally dripping sweat. So we're in our high lunge, arms reach tall. Back leg really straightens up here. If that means you come a little bit higher, so be it. That's okay. Front heel gets a little bit lighter. Doesn't need to leave the mat. Just feel more of the ball of the foot. Maybe you come up onto the ball. That's a ballsy move right there. Metatarsally speaking. Good. 2 more breaths. Inhale. Feel your breath calming and feel how that may calm some of what you're feeling in the body. Last one. Okay, let's bring the hands to the hips, lower that heel down. Again, we've got that broomstick taped to your spine. It stays long. You hinge forward. You can't even lurk in peace. I know, I'm here for you. Hey, go back to your minutes of fasting there. So warrior 3 is where we're heading here. We're going to use a little forward momentum bump off of that back foot to maybe bring us up. Hey, by the way, maybe your warrior 3 is not level like this. Maybe it just looks like this, right? Maybe you're just tipped forward a little bit. Ooh, I can't even keep my balance here. That is totally fine. Over time, we can hinge a little bit more deeply here. Okay, all the options for airplane here, excuse me, warrior 3, we've got airplane arms, we've got arms overhead, or like me, I'm going to go supported. What I like about the supported variation here, again, we don't have to, we're not limited by our balance. So we can focus on that hip position. Feel where your hips are. Chances are that right hip is floating up into the air there. Beautiful, Subu. Good. Last breath here. Yeah, that's right. I'm not that mean. It's an inside joke from yesterday. All right, so we're going to transition up to standing. Try to stay balanced on your left leg in doing so. So the chest will lift. It helps to soften into the left knee. Bring your right knee forward slowly and up in front of you. Whoop, I'm moving more to the middle of the mat so you can see me. Again, we can just start with a bent knee. If you're happy here, stay. Maybe I should say, if you're unhappy here, stay, because you're going to be less happy with that leg out in front of you. And again, if we lift it way up here, but we're kind of soft, this little, like Daniel-san kind of move going on, just lower it down, reset, go for the straighter leg. For me, I'm feeling sore. Sometimes I can get up to 90, but I can't today, so that's fine. Every day you come to practice, you meet yourself where you are, mentally, physically, and work from there. We're breathing. Now again, if you want to make this harder, you can reach up. I'm going to just base my time off of Subu's shaking foot. I can tell when he's cooked. One more breath in. And exhale. Lower the arms, lower the legs. Let's shake it out. Yes, everybody, I'm not as mean as that. Queen Electro and I had a funny fasting joke from yesterday's stream. Let's feel weight back into that right foot. We're going to lift that left knee into the air. And you can just feel this little wag. I like to keep the toes flexed. Little internal and external rotation of the hip in a flexed position. Or you can stir the pot. Ooh, this one feels weird. Not as smooth for me, and I'm going to reverse the direction. Hey.
Let's just go through a vinyasa to give the legs a little bit of a break. I want to do eagle pose, and then we'll bring it down, do some nice seated hip stretches. So the vinyasa here, we'll go to the top of the mat. Inhale, arms reach wide, and then reach up. Breathe out as you forward fold. Inhale, lifting halfway up. And exhale, bring your hands to the floor, step into your plank. You're either going knees, chest, chin like we've done, or I'm going to show a full chaturanga, which is forward and halfway down. Inhale, I flip my toes, lift the chest. This is up dog, or you'll be in cobra. And then exhale, DFD. Hold on, I got an emote for that. That's what you should do. Hey, welcome. Thank you. I don't know how to say that, but thank you for following. So we're in downward facing dog. Let me move my mat. How does this feel? Any different than the other times you've been here today or in your life? Or in all of eternity? Just breathe. Letting that breath slow things down. Breathing through the nose. Oh, thank you. Lumax6, thank you for that follow. I appreciate it. All right, so we're going to make our way to the top of the mat. Feel free to walk forward, but you might want to challenge yourself. I talk about it sometimes, jumping to the top of the mat. You can give it a try. Even if you make it halfway up, it's still a skill that you can start to build slowly over time. So I'm going to feel weight into my hands. I'm looking between my hands. I'm going to bend my knees like springs coiling. I'm looking forward, and I'm going to hop my feet as high up towards the hands as I can get. Maybe that's halfway up the mat. That's fine, and then you could just walk it the rest of the way up. But as you gain more upper body and core strength, maybe that hop gets you all the way to the top of the mat. And that might take years, so be patient with it. Good. We're breathing all of our air out here in this forward fold. Half lift as you breathe in. Exhale, fold. We inhale to rise up. Exhale, arms alongside the body. Okay. We're going to come to the top of the mat. I just need a towel. I am drenched in sweat right now. That's how you know it's working. Okay. We're going into our eagle pose. Garudasana. Let's feel weight into the right foot, okay? I like to soften into that and get a little bit of a bend here. Left knee will lift and come way over the thigh. The higher over the thigh, the better, okay? Because that's going to help our second wrap. So here I am. This might be step one for you. And you can always use this bottom foot. If you want to take it easy today, notice I've got my toe as a little kickstand. Or if you have a block, that can be a little bit more of your kickstand as well, okay? Some of you can get the double wrap, all right? Where that thigh crosses once, and the higher the better, because then you have an opportunity. If you look in this side cam, as I bend, yep, you can see it. I'm going to hook my toes around the calf. Okay, so my left leg is over my right, so my right arm will go over my left, okay? So there's an option here for just a single wrap, where I'm using that left bent elbow to pull my right arm across the body. There's one wrap. But just like the legs, we have an option for a double wrap. I bend my right elbow, connect the palms. Cool. Once you're wherever you're going to end up, try to lift your arms away from your body. Some of you can even go deeper, forward folding, elbows going over the knees. Whoop. And there goes my double wrap of the lower body, but that's okay. One more breath. And exhale. Let's inhale, come up nice and slow. And unwind. Woo. Kind of freestyle dance and let all that go. I call this the Gumby dance because I'm just letting my body go Gumby-like. Actually, what were you doing, kittens? You were doing some twisting here with, I guess there's some percussion into some of the organs as those arms kind of thwap into the body. Thwap is a very technical term. I learned it in school. Look it up sometime. All right, other side. We're going to get into that left foot here. Feel the weight into the left leg and soften into that knee. Right knee comes up, comes over. Thigh, right? Look, I'm just using my hand. Get that thigh a little bit higher here. I didn't say it was graceful. If you want graceful yoga, go take Grace Yoga's class tonight at 5 Pacific, 7 Central. All right, so to get that second wrap, it takes some hip mobility here, but positionally, if we bend into the knee, that planted leg, we can sometimes get that double wrap to happen. It took me a long time to do this, okay? How do we remember the arms? The right leg is going over the left leg, so the left arm will go over the right. There's one wrap. You can just bend that elbow and pull the arm across the chest for level 1. Level 2 is going to be bending that elbow, bringing forearms together. Now, you could just stay here working on your balance. If you're rock solid, elbows lift, we hinge forward. You can see in the side cam, elbows are going over the knees here. And we're balancing. I didn't lose the wrap on this side. Woo. Inhale. Exhale. One more breath cycle. I fell out of it. And exhale. Good. Let's come up slowly. Ooh. Unwind. Do the Gumby dance. Just shaking that all out. We're going to bring ourselves down to seated here. Here's a challenge to try to get down there without any hands. Okay, we just trust fall backwards. I'm kidding. Don't do that, please, unless you have somebody back there. We're going to cross the shins. I'm already bending into my knees. I'm going onto the outer edges of my feet, and just like a scissor lift, I'm going to stick my butt back. Ooh. That wasn't really graceful, but it got us there. Perfecto. Let's bring the shins open wide. Okay. Soles of the feet are pointing forward. Toes pointing out east and west here. You'll notice shins are parallel here. You can grab onto your ankles and sit up nice and tall. Okay. If this is a little much, even just this position connected to the ankles, feel free to drop your hands back behind you. Wherever you are, though, we are lifting that sternum, trying to tip the pelvis forward. You can imagine you want to show people your belt buckle. And that'll add some intensity to that stretch there. As we have the heels planted, they become our pivot points. I'm going to turn the right knee inward and try to touch the floor with it. Both knees, really. Then I come up and drop to the other side. As you're doing this, imagine trying to keep the knees as far apart from each other as possible. So it's easy to lift my left knee and then bring the right knee up to follow it. See how far you can open before the right knee has to follow. Okay? Easier done with the hands behind the back. Becomes more challenging as we sit up over the hips and begin to reach forward there. How's that feeling there for you, Subu? Good. Nice wide position. Subu's joining me on Zoom. Really nice. Now, next time you drop one knee inward, we're going to try to rotate in the direction that you came from. Does that make sense? So as my right knee dropped inward, I'm going to try to rotate to the right. You might feel a whole slew of stuff
up through your abdominal wall on that right side. We're in deep internal hip rotation here. Okay, you might even use your hands to get a little bit further in this rotation. If there's any pain in the knee here, we don't need to cram into this. You can let that knee be hovered a little bit. You can place padding underneath. All right, let's go to the other side. That's the going to the other side sound effect. And again, wherever you twisted from, and you may have been out of sequence from where I was, that's fine. We're going to sit up, and we're going to try to rotate in the direction that we just folded in from. So my left knee came in. I'm trying to rotate to the left. Nice. Now let's stay here. We're going to come upright here, rotating over to the right side of your mat, or I should say the right side of your body. I've rotated a little bit. So the sternum here is in line with the thigh bone. If you're looking at this side view cam, you can see I'm in alignment here. If you're familiar with yoga poses, this is like a modified pigeon pose, except because we're in this 90-90 shape, I'm kind of tipped over onto the right hip, and I actually prefer this. It's a little more accessible. So we're going to sit up tall. Remember that broomstick taped to our spine to keep us long. Here we are again. We're hinge forward. Now, if you just gotta go into your pigeon pose here, feel free. All you need to do is to straighten that back leg and roll over the hip. And you'll notice when I did that, I created more space here. So I'm not actually going to be able to relax fully into this. So if the same happened to you, if you really wanted to go into that pigeon and you created a little space, lose stream? Did I freeze? Uh-oh. Am I back? I'm good on Zoom. Okay, let me know when I'm back on Twitch. Good thing we're not in a really hard pose, right, Subu? They're telling me on Twitch that I dropped some frames here, that I'm frozen or something. So, a good thing we're in a nice juicy pose to freeze on. Just let me know when I'm back on Twitch. Hopefully, we'll just stay in our pigeon until we hear back. Back and forth. Uh-oh. That's no good. Are we back? Are we good? I have an Ethernet cable en route, so I will be hardwired for some of my next streams. I was having some issues last time as well. Are we back? Are we back on Twitch? Just let me know. I just want to make sure that I'm not going on without you. But we're in a nice juicy pose anyway. So let's come out of this. And again, it's an active transition over to the other side. Everyone's gone. You can listen now. Is it dropping, Panda? We're going to switch over to the other side. Bring my water and my chat over. All right. So just as we did on the other side, I don't know if it dropped me and you were listening to were able to hear the instructions. But we're going to hinge forward with the long spine. It looks good. Okay, so we're back. Of course, one dropped. Yeah, I need to get an Ethernet cable. I will be getting that soon. Twitch back. Thank you. Sorry for that. I was saying to Subu, because he didn't get affected by it on Zoom. Good thing we weren't in like a super hard pose and then it just froze. We were in a nice juicy pose. We're back. All right, and we're back. So what I was saying on the other side, and hopefully you all were enjoying some hip stretch. And by the way, I didn't show this on the other side, but for all you lovelies watching at your desk, there's an option here as well.
Let me just take a quick detour. I'm going to take that ankle up and over here. Now flex the ankle, really being mindful with this. Chest is tall and hinge over. Oop, I can see my side cam. I should straighten my spine a little bit. It'll be tempting to round forward into this, but this is an option for you if you're sitting in a chair and you want to get some hip loving. But again, make sure those toes are flexed. That'll help to kind of protect the knee from any unnecessary torsion. A twisting force. Okay, so if you want to, you can go into a full-blown pigeon here. But what I was saying, oh, thank you. Oh my goodness, Amber Glow rating with a party of 22. Thank you so much. Oh, now you get to see my little raid emote. Oh yeah. Welcome, Amber Glow. My goodness, I was watching the beginning of your class here. We're actually just wrapping up here as well. We did some standing poses, some balancing, Warrior 3 action. Hello. Hi there. Welcome, welcome. For those, thank you for the follow. My lemons are lemony. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Tony or Yogohana. I teach, do fitness streams here, some Twitch things. But every Tuesday and Thursday at noon Pacific, I do an hour-long class, and then I do an hour Q&A after class as well. So a little more strength focus, mobility, get some playfulness in there. So thanks. Likes hot sauce. You know what? I like hot sauce too. Thank you for that follow there. I appreciate it. And Amber, thank you so much for rating. Subu, you're good. At least you got to get the juicy stuff. Right on, Subu. Thank you so much for hanging out on Zoom. I appreciate it. I'll see you later. So we're just, Warrior 3. And we did a modified Warrior 3. My legs were feeling a little bit sore. I love to do Warrior 3 using a chair or using yoga blocks. Just that we don't have to focus on the balance so much. We can really feel what's going on into the hips. Tony Ohana, that's right. Tony Ohana, that's right. How did your class go, Amber? It's nice to see you. We're going to come up right here. Let's actively transition back to that center spot. How do we do that? Again, we pivot on the ankles, on the heels. Back to that center position. Let's bring soles of the feet together to touch. A brief Supta Baddha Konasana. Baddha Konasana. We'll go to Supta in just a second. We'll connect to the feet. Inhale, lift through the chest. And exhale, long spine hinges forward. We don't have to go all the way down here. Maybe you prefer that straighter spine. Just feeling the whole pelvis rotating forward. Nice. So much love coming in here. I love it. Lemony. The name is so great. Bringing hot sauce lovers together. Yes. You're feeling a little off today, but class felt really nice. Excellent. Yeah, you were doing some basic yoga. Like I said, I caught the first few minutes of your class right before I was getting ready for my stream, and it sounded like you were feeling a little bleh. So, hey, Velocity, thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. Welcome. All right, let's take this shape here. We're going to come up to seated. Make sure that you don't have anything behind you so that as we recline, we don't hit anything. All right. If this is a little much on your hips, just the knees being opened out, you can always use blocks or blankets, pillows, whatever you have nearby to prop the knees up. And what I like to do is go right where I feel the stretch and then wedge there. Just right on that edge of the stretch. And then your body will have a few moments to just, we've got a hand on the heart, hand on the belly here. Let's take a breath in. And a breath out. 2 more like that. Last breath here. Nice. let's move any of the props that you may have used out of the way. We'll straighten that left leg. Bring the right leg up into the air. And if you have a strap, maybe you connect it around the arch of the foot. If not, you can always grab behind the thigh, the calf, the ankle. Just feeling this stretch here. Leg doesn't have to be straight here, by the way, and I mentioned that earlier in the class. As long as it's straight enough where you feel some of the sensation. But we're not here for too long. I'm just here into the twist. So we're going to take the grip predominantly into the left hand so that we can bring that leg across the body. Now, if this is a little too much, feel free to bend the knee. Let me get my body pack out of the way. So we've got some options here. Bent-legged twist. Maybe you prefer a straight-legged twist. And that right arm is up and over. So as we settle into this reclined twist here, take a big breath in. Try to feel where you're the most constricted here in this rotation. Send your breath there. And as you take a nice long exhale, feel your body just melting into that twist. Again, we're inhaling. Feel where you're most restricted. Is it the outer hip, maybe the side body? Perhaps it's up into the chest and shoulder. See if you can send your breath there. Even just imagine it. We'll exhale, let it all out. I hear you, chat. Thank you. Missed the beginning of the stream. Oh, you know what? In my stream yesterday, I had a number of people say they were feeling off as well. So I wonder if it's just something going on. I hope your class, Amber, fed you a little bit here. And thank you. Yeah, nothing serious. It'll pass. Yeah. It's just nice to identify it sometimes and just say, you know what, I'm feeling kind of bleh today. And it'll be better. Other people have it worse. You know, not that we want to dwell on that, but like just kind of putting things into perspective sometimes. So to come back to center here, we'll bend the knee, especially if you had it straightened, so that we can flatten onto our back again and send that right leg down the mat. Left leg comes up into the air. And again, same thing. If you've got a yoga strap, you can bring it around the ball of the foot. Otherwise, you can grab behind the thigh, the calf, or the ankle. It's the new moon. Oh, of course, Moon asks the moon question. Thank you, Moon. For sure, excellent sentiment, yes. So we're going to take that leg up and over. And I've got my bed here, so I can't go too far. So I'm going to employ the bent leg variation as I drop into this twist. Boo. Left arm reaches up and over. And then we take inventory. Where do we feel the tightest along this twist? For me, I feel it a little bit more into my left low back versus, the hip or the shoulder. So I'm going to take my breath and try to send it into this space. Long exhale, melts it all away. Good. Let's do that again. Nice big breath. Ooh, I was just talking about nose breathing, and I breathe in through my mouth. And then try to take even more air in. Let's do one more of those. Nice long inhale. Wonderful. We're coming out of this twist nice and slow. Bend into the left knee if you had it straight so that you could flatten that body back onto the floor. We're preparing for final Shavasana here. Legs out, extended long. If there's any pain or tightness that you're feeling in your low back here, feel free to prop a pillow, blocks, anything padded underneath the knee. That little bit of lift can really take some of the pressure off that lumbar spine. Whatever you need to do to make yourself comfortable here. There's a great quote I love. I think I heard it in a restorative class, and it's
they said, "You are worth the time it takes to be comfortable." I just thought that was really powerful because, yeah, I'm worth it. And you are too. So we got the hands down alongside the body here, palms up, and we can close the eyes. And here we get to let go. Definitely much easier said than done. But in these moments, we're at least a little bit more primed to do so. We've moved the body, we've breathed, we've felt struggle, we've felt calm. And here we can just let the body be accepted by the floor. We can feel all of the weight down into the ground. There's no need for us to hold any of that tension. We are supported, not only by the floor underneath us or the chair underneath us, but there's just been such a lovely community building here. We are supporting each other when we're feeling blah. And those times happen, they come. And as Amber Glow said, it'll pass. Maybe there's one more part of your body that you can feel just go. Maybe it's just the muscles in your face soften. We just appreciate this stillness. I like to use Shavasana to see if I can feel in my body what we worked today in class. What I call the echoes of our practice as we settle in this stillness. Let's feel your breath beginning to deepen here. Introducing small movements of the fingers and toes that then creep up into the wrists, the ankles, like vines all the way up the arms and the legs. Let's take the arms, stretch them up overhead, take a big breath in. Open your mouth, stick your tongue out. One more time, just like that. Inhale, big stretch. We'll bring the knees up into the chest, rolling your body to one side to help bring you up to a comfortable seated position. And we're going to finish today's practice with 3 rounds of Om. I don't know if, Amber, did you do any Om chanting in your class today? I'm going to bring in the Shruti box. The Shruti box is like a harmonium, if you're familiar, if you've been to a yoga class. It is a pumped instrument, kind of like an accordion. So as it opens up, I have these holes that let sound through. They vibrate reeds. So as I start to pump this, hopefully you'll be able to hear. And it just creates this beautiful tone that matches with the human voice, the timbre of the human voice really nicely. So we're going to use this to chant our Oms with today. Feel free to join in with me if you'd like, or you can just enjoy the sounds. Some say it's the sound of the universe. As I like to say, it doesn't have to be very incredibly meaningful for you. Sometimes I just like to feel the vibrations through the body as the shape of the sound changes. So when we do our Om chant, it's actually kind of 3 different parts.
ah, ooh, right? A-U, O-O, and then So the ah is kind of down here in the chest. Ooh is kind of vibrating into the throat. And the is kind of vibrating all of these resonant chambers. Yes, it is an interesting instrument. It's beautiful. And in person, it really, when you get a whole room of yogis chanting Om to this, it's powerful. So we're going to do the best that we can to get that same effect here. We're going to go for 3 Om chants. Feel free to join me if you'd like. Hands can be on the thighs or in prayer at the heart here. We'll close the eyes and we'll take 1 prep breath before we do our 3 rounds. Let's inhale. Exhale, breathing everything out. Inhale for our first Om. Beautiful. Thank you all so much for coming and joining class today. Even if you were just watching, I still appreciate you being here. Amber Glow, thank you so much for the raid. It was awesome to have your whole community jump in here right at the end. Thank you so much. Namaste. I'm going to be